start over. Call to order the EDA meeting for February 19th, 2019.
Helms. Grinde.
Here.
Hecht.
Here.
Pokrzywinski.
Here.
Blair. Black.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Okay.
All right, do we have a quorum? Okay, we have oaths of office for Mr. Grinde,
Yeah, I got to do an oath for Mr.
and
Grinde.
Diane Blair is not here.
So I'll get, Josh, can I get you to stand and repeat after me?
You have to swear.
Again?
You have to swear allegiance to us.
I state your name,
Josh Grinde.
hereby accept the duties. Repeat.
Of what?
Repeat after him.
You have to repeat those words.
Hereby accept the duties as a member of the East Grand Forks EDA.
I accept the that thing,
Okay? And do solemnly swear
all the time.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
Yes, sir.
the state of Minnesota,
Yes, sir.
and faithfully perform and discharge the duties of the EDA Commissioner
Yes, sir.
in the county of Polk, state of Minnesota, to the best of your ability and judgment, so help you God.
Amen.
That was unique.
It got the point across.
Do that tape too if you want.
Yeah, right.
This is one that may go viral.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Approval of minutes for January 22nd organizational meeting and January
Watch it
22nd regular meeting. Need a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion by
Second.
You weren't
Grinde,
there, you can't.
second by
Read
Hecht.
it.
You can't, you weren't there. It has to be somebody who attended the meeting.
Call roll for this, or just,
Okay.
No, just if there's money involved, but
okay.
who, he just said that Josh can't.
Josh can't, I'll move
So you're
on the
gonna-
minutes.
Okay, so who's going to second?
And Josh can second, he
Oh,
just can't
Josh
make the
wasn't
motion.
here?
Okay, so Josh.
Okay.
All right.
Motion by Hecht,
Second.
second by Grinde.
Okay. Was that for both of them?
Yes, that was for both of them. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the minutes are approved. Number 4, bills and communications. A, review of accounts payable February 5th, 2019. If anybody has any questions, we don't need approval for this, it's just a review. Hearing none. B, approval of accounts payable, February 19th, 2019. And we do need a motion to approve this.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, if Josh moves on this one.
Yes.
Motion by Grinde,
Second.
second by Hecht. Any other questions? Any discussion? All in favor? No, we got to call roll for this.
Johnson.
Yes.
Black.
Yes.
Grinde.
Yes.
Hecht.
Yes.
Pokrzywinski.
Yes.
And down.
Motion is approved. Okay, number 5, reports. A delinquency update.
Did we receive that other payment yet?
Yes.
We have no delinquencies because we received the payments.
Excellent. No delinquencies.
I was thinking about it all weekend and forgot to ask Brenda this morning. Duh.
Well, good. B, monthly financial reports. Carla.
And closed is January, and we still have some entries to make for December, some adjustment entries. For example, like in the new housing, the balance as of January 2019 is $23,000 here. There will be some adjustments to that because that's where the tax refunds come out of. So we have not done transfers. We do those typically in March. EDA administration, there's actually negative in the cash. We haven't done our transfers yet. And what happens is that the transfer goes and covers it, so the cash is at zero because they're actually just part of the general fund budget. Sunshine Terrace, normal activity for the month of January. The only adjustment we typically do in Sunshine Terrace in December is we'll run depreciation. IRP loan, we do have one loan now that we gave out actually last year. And so you can see that there's been payments made to the loan of $92.32 in January, so that's the balance, correct balance. MIF loans, I don't know what happened with the printout, but some of it's missing, that's okay. So that's just normal activity. And then the DPA loan, it should say January 19th, so I'm sorry on that, but normal activity for January.
Any questions for Carla? All right. Thank you, Carla. Number 6, unfinished business, A, strategic plan. Mr. Gordon?
Well, last month, I handed out the strategic plan, and the question is, do you have any thoughts, comments? I was hoping we could vote on it today. Actually, I'm hoping you'd approve it today, but that goes beyond voting on it.
Any comments or questions on this strategic plan? No? We need a motion to approve.
I'll move.
Motion by Hecht,
Second.
second by Grinde. Please call roll.
Okay. Johnson?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
Pokrzywinski?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Grinde?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. It's approved. Thank you, everybody. Director's report. Mr. Gordy.
First item is the infield building. The council, at its work session, discussed the potential sale or the desire to sell the infield building and wishes to proceed in that regard. They also were very concerned about making sure that the current tenants are accommodated and that have an opportunity to participate in the purchase if they so wish. The steps that have to occur is to do an appraisal, and we have to take care of the common area agreement, since we don't want to leave that hanging to a purchaser at the time that it would be sold. Okay? Those items are being worked on.
I'll just comment on that. We discussed this at our last meeting, and there was kind of pros and cons and not unanimity as far as what we all thought, but I watched the council meeting, and it seemed like there was pretty strong sense from the council that they would like to get this in the private sector. If that's fair to say, Mr. Johnson?
The majority was yes.
Yep, and I would say that that for whatever role we have, that's the thing, that's the course that we should follow. I mean, I don't know if we need a motion from us, or if we even passed a motion last time.
Well, we don't need to do anything at this point. Our role will largely be advisory, because this property is owned by the city, and the city council will make the final decision on it. All the departments have input on the potential sales of property, and the EDA and the other commissions, boards and commissions, may also weigh in on that. One of our roles, however, is that we cause the appraisal. So when we get the quotes on the appraisal, I bring them to you so you can accept them. So we have some responsibility in that regard. But ultimately, the decision will be that of the city council.
Does the cost of the appraisal come out of our budget?
Yes.
I would assume it'd just be out of the info budget itself,
Okay.
out of the building
Yeah,
itself.
it's one of the budgets that we deal with.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
What was the minority concern from the work session?
It was
The
a
comment
tenant.
was made as the majority was for it, but there must have been somebody who,
Yeah,
There was
Concerns that were-
concern with making sure that the current tenants, that their needs are accommodated, okay? So a lot of the things that we talked about.
I think there was that, but I think that there was one that just figured that they would like to keep it for now.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I made the comment that I thought if it's not broke, don't fix it. We're not losing money on it, and we got solid tenants, but I would cede to the council their authority to, and it was a pretty strong sense that, and I get that, I understand it, and I don't disagree with the fact that we're a public entity, we shouldn't be in the real estate business, and so.
My only question was, is if there was something that we hadn't talked about, or there was something new that came up.
No.
There was nothing that came up at the council meeting that we didn't discuss. Nobody's comments at the council meeting stand out to me, to my recollection, that they were not willing to consider this sale. It was stronger in our board that we may want to hold on to the property than it was at the council level. Okay. Tim?
The only thing I recall is I think they said that they actually made money on it.
Yeah.
And then they had elevator troubles or this or that, and the common area was a concern or whatever, but no, that's where we stand, I guess.
Okay.
Where's that stand?
I'm trying to arrange a meeting to get everybody together.
Have we already hired somebody to start the appraisal process?
Nope, we will go through here to have that person to have their quote accepted. I'm trying to balance when we do the appraisal and how long that takes versus getting the common area agreement done. So we have one done in hand before the appraisal. The appraisal's only good for so long
Right.
commonly. So I need to make sure that we can have a valid appraisal at the time we try to sell it. So I'm doing both of those things, Justin.
Okay.
Okay. You still have the floor, Mr. Purdy.
Whoever can help at the Forks Home Builders Show, your assistance, participation would be welcome. It's 4 to 8 on Friday, it's 10 to 6 on Saturday, and it's 11 to 5 on Sunday. So just let me know if you can spend some time. We share the booth with the Water and Light. So Josh, you get hit from two sides on that one. Okay. Okay. Going on to the next item, everybody knows by now, I'm sure, that one, Dollar General has left, and two, that Shopko has left. In Shopko's case, they're using their bankruptcy to try to change the terms of the agreements that they have, and it makes a situation where it was a take it or leave it, and it would have put the building owner into a negative situation in terms of that building. So he countered, and Shopko countered by putting it onto their to-be-closed list rather than even going any further in discussions. It's similar on Dollar General, where they just, even though they were making money, they decided not to continue the relationship in here. I have been talking with both property owners about how we can fill the spaces, possible tenants to fill the space, and ways to fill the space that work well for this community. That will take some time to get done. Okay. The one building's about 8,000 square feet, the other building's about 40,000 square feet. I think you can figure out which is which. Okay.
Yeah.
Mall, Columbia Mall, MDNO.
Retail's tough.
Well, it's a change, the retail environment is changing dramatically, and it has affected some retailers who've had to, not once, but twice or three times going through bankruptcy. Look at what's going on with Payless right now, where Payless is closing every store in this country. Toys R Us is closed. Look at the difficulties that Sears is having. Look at the difficulties and the closures for Macy's and places like that. It's not an easy environment right now, and it will take some years before that's all shakes out to see what we ultimately see. But for ours, we basically have two stores that we're going to be trying to re-tenant, and I'm working with the owners to get that done.
I know I was approached about this weekend, actually, and they were saying, East Side has to do something, because right now we have Hugo's. We have no other stores, that talked about possibly, approaching like a Walgreens or a CVS or something on that line,
Yeah.
to see what we could do. What's that?
Shopko's pharmacy is already closed. Shopko is supposed to be closing, I think.
But they have pharmacies, but they have like Walgreens, and CVS has other retail type stuff that goes along with it. But it just came up because it was,
Yeah, when I hear East Grand Forks has to do something, the question is what? There are limits as to what we can do. The extreme case is we brought Cabela's here. Yeah, we don't have $7 million laying around to attract someone like that, and that was a unique situation after a natural disaster. So when people ask or tell us we need to do something, that's,
Well,
what we need to do is market ourselves, and I think that's something we're working on. We also need to just have an open door policy. The sign on our door should say "Open for Business," and that's about all we can do.
Well, I like I said, I'm working with the building owners, and there are, in particular, there's the International Council of Shopping Centers. I have been a member for a long time, and most of them are also members. So I'm working with them so we can participate in some of their events where we get together with the people who have spaces, with the businesses that are trying to expand and fill new spaces. So there are events. There's one in Chicago that's going on roughly now or toward the end of this month. There's one down in Kansas City that comes up shortly. The major show is out in Las Vegas in May. And if it comes down to it, what I may end up having to do, if it comes down to it, is I may have to go out and meet them with some of the retailers, either at some place like that or at the retailers' own locations, and discuss what can be done with them at that point, where we have a supportive role and try to facilitate things that can happen. We're not the ones who are going to be signing the lease on the bottom line. It's a retailer, and it's going to be a private transaction between the retailer and the business owner.
Do we have enterprise zone credits that'd be available for either of those locations?
They'll be leasehold, and because they're leasehold, it's harder to apply. It has to apply to the owner of the building as opposed, but some type of tax relief would be one way to go about it. That's something that will take discussion here and ultimately take discussion of the city council, because the city council has to approve any form of tax relief. We have, in particular, the IRP funds can be available for things such as renovation of a building, for a tenant, that's for the tenant improvements, so that type of thing can be done in a way that has fewer restrictions on the use of the money than some of the other funds that we have, so that we can use those funds to help a business renovate a space so it can go into business. And we can set up the terms so that they're not onerous to the business. Our money right now is at 4% for that type of loan. SBA money right now is at 4.6%. So SBA money, Small Business Administration money, is not really expensive either. So those are things that we're looking at. Ron had mentioned a couple of tenants. Those are not the only tenants that have been mentioned and when I've talked with the building owners.
Out of curiosity, how many jobs did we lose?
I don't know that. I can't answer that. I don't know. I've been working on the space less than the jobs. The thing is, with our unemployment rate around here, in general, we're looking for people to fill jobs.
Right.
So there are some opportunities. You even hire a lot of people at American Crystal, so some of the people may have gone to your place, but I can't answer that question. I don't know the answer. I can find out if you'd really like to know.
Be nice to know.
I think they're going to be open till May is what they've said there.
I think May 1st is the Shopko.
Right.
I know there's some employees that have been there over 26 years, I know.
That's
But
why I
they're
was
all-
wondering.
26 years, so.
Yeah.
But I spoke to one just the other day, and they didn't have any idea what they were doing yet. But
Yeah, they may be open, but they may not have a lot left on their shelves by the time they close. So, but, okay. Intergovernmental retreat.
You're attending.
Yes.
On Friday is the intergovernmental retreat, which includes the city, the EDA, the chamber, the county, and the school district. It'll be Friday afternoon. In general, the council has been invited, and I had talked to Justin originally, when Justin was president, but now to Mike, representing the EDA, to be part of that. So there will be a combination of people who are attending from each of those groups. It will be held at the Fairfield Inn.
Okay. I wasn't sure where it was going to be.
Fairfield Inn. Starts at noon.
This is an event, I don't think it's happened the last couple of yease, has it?
4 years.
Is it
The last
that-
time it happened was my first year here.
That long ago? Okay.
And David took me over that day. It was over at Casa Mexico.
Oh, yeah, that, yeah, that was those
Basement.
tight quarters down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a good event. It gets all the school board, city and county people together. We usually have some sort of communication with our representatives in St. Paul, Deb Keel, and Leroy Stump used to show up sometimes if it worked in for their schedules. But
Representative Peterson has also indicated he wants to
Phone
be
in?
able to call in.
oh, good.
Okay? So it goes beyond that. It gives everybody a chance to talk about the things that are going on and to identify and discuss if we have issues that we're going to have to address as we move forward, and how things that we might be able to do to work collaboratively to get those things done.
Yeah. Yep. And that's. I'm glad it's back. That's something the chamber has sponsored for a long time, and
Well, it was originally EDHA and the chamber who did it, and Jim Richter took the lead on that.
yeah.
And the chamber took it over after Jim departed, but it hasn't happened for a while. If any of you want to go, let me know today so I can make sure that they have a lunch for you. Okay, because lunches will be provided. But it's roughly all afternoon, from noon till 4:30-ish on Friday, the 22nd. Okay?
All right. Number 7, new business. I see none on the agenda. Do you have anything hot off the presses?
No.
Nope. Okay. Before we go into closed session, next month, we will hopefully have Mr. Masalt and Mr. Riopel here to thank them for their service on our board. And then, can you talk about this Downtown Development Association meeting?
I was at a meeting last week where Blue Weber, who's the head of the Downtown Development Association, talked about things that are going on in downtown Grand Forks. We talked about how East Grand Forks can be involved. We're talking about how to keep some of the events that will be difficult to stage in downtown because of the demers construction in the summer, how to keep them but they would happen on the east side of the river. And so that we can do those things, because it's better to keep the venue downtown than it is for them to escape to a non-downtown venue. So we're working together on all those things, and at that point, Blue can't be here next meeting, but he will come the following meeting so he can bring you up to date on what's going on. We have the Detour Routes. The detours will go around downtown. There'll be two-way detours, but the bridge, it's important to remember the bridge over Demers, the Sorley Bridge, will be open. There will be some work that's done on the approach to that bridge at some point, but it's going to be done quickly, and at that point there will be flaggers who will handle the traffic, to allow traffic to go through. But our downtown will be open and accessible, and you can drive up. Part of what they're doing for the Downtown Development Association is some work on parking and where parking is located, so that people can see that there will still be parking conveniently located in downtown Grand Forks. One of the things they have that we don't are some parking decks that have capacity in them that aren't aren't necessarily used at this point. They're underutilized at this time, but it means that they have some facilities that can take up for some of the slack when you can't get there or it isn't as convenient because of the demurrage construction this summer. That will make quite a change on the way demurrage is in downtown.
Yeah.
All right. Before we adjourn, David, can you introduce your intern to us?
Oh, sure. His name is Liam Thrailfield. He is an intern here with us. He's going to be here until sometime early May. He's a UAD grad student out there. He's just finishing up. He's been doing very, very good so far. So I'll let him tell you a little bit more about himself as far as why he wanted to do this.
Okay.
I'll tell him that I've been trying to talk him out of it.
I would have to agree. I don't know, not much more to say about myself. I just 22, so I don't have much that I've done so far in my life. But where are you from? I'm from Manhattan. Yeah, so last year at UMB, finishing up in May.
Good to have you.
It's been good, so yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
With regard to my evaluation, what I asked David to do is get input from this group, because my job responsibilities go beyond what I do here, and that also with regard to that, well, it was better to have it all put together and have it discussed so it becomes part of one input. And I actually work for the city and am assigned to here as opposed to working directly for the EDA.
Okay.
So we're doing that, and at this point, the meeting needs to go silent because you're going to, as soon as you
Do we need
to go into closed session.
Do we need to adjourn the regular meeting, Counselor? And then how do you help me out through this?
Yeah, you would just recess this meeting.
Recess.
Yep.
Okay.
Go into closed session and then,
All right. Do I need to read the statute? I don't have that.
I don't have it. I don't see it.
we'll just announce it then.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, the regular meeting will go into recess and the EDA board will go into closed session for the director's evaluation.
Okay.